Good morning, my dear friend. Zinni Company welcomes you very much. Now I will lead you to visit our grease factory through a video. My current location is Fanshan County, Puayang City, Henan Province, China. This is a county-level highway, and our factory is located on the east side of this highway. This road in front of us is specially built for our factory. From here, we can go straight for 1,000 meters to reach the factory. On my left is our lotus garden. Every year in August and September, the lotus flowers bloom, the lotus seeds mature, and the scenery is very beautiful. Very impressive. Arriving at the factory's parking lot immediately. What we see now is our factory's parking lot, which can park various vehicles and can accommodate more than 100 vehicles at the same time. Please follow my camera and continue to visit the factory. There is a very ecological river at the entrance of the factory. The flowing water is from the Yellow River. There are many fish and shrimps in the river. There are also 3 ecological fish ponds built around the factory. Why? In China, factories like ours are called green factories. The entire factory coexists harmoniously with the ecological environment. This is also the green development concept advocated by our country. Passing through the gate, you can see the company's North Square, which is a very large area. Its main function is to load and unload goods, and hold large-scale group building activities. Now, you can see the process of loading and shipping lubricating grease. Our factory was founded in 1989 and has been engaged in lubricating grease OEM services for 35 years. We provide OEM services to many Fortune 500 companies. The factory covers an area of 100,000 square meters and currently has 128 employees, including 35 senior technical engineers. In 2022, we achieved an OEM output of 38,000 tons. We have our own logistics fleet and can provide door-to-door delivery services for customers. This is our R&D center, the sole provincial-level lubricating grease professional technology engineering center in Henan Province, and also the production, teaching and research base of many universities. The first floor is a brief introduction to our strategic partner Sinopec Hengmai. This is the brand introduction and development history. Here is the product introduction and brand concept. On the right is our R&D conference room. Along the stairs we enter the second floor. The second floor is an important area of our R&D center, covering an area of 2,000 square meters. The R&D center is a manifestation of our factory's core competitiveness and a key to product quality control. The first room is the infrared analysis room. Its main function is to predict the structural type of lubricating grease through infrared analysis of various elements. This room is the lubricating oil analysis room. There are a lot of additives here, both solid and liquid. Debugging some lubricating oil samples is carried out here. The next room is the grease analysis room. Its main function is to analyze grease and debug samples. This is the constant temperature calibration room for lubricating grease, mainly used for grease cone penetration testing. You see, this is the grease that is being cooled, and cone penetration is one of the very important indicators of lubricating grease. The 2 rows of equipment that are working now are called grease 100,000 times stroke shearer, which is filled with grease. It needs to be sheared 100,000 times strokes, and the mechanical stability of the lubricating grease is predicted by the penetration changes before and after 100,000 times shearing. The equipment you can see from the left is high temperature and high shear detector, grease corrosion tester, grease copper corrosion tester, grease evaporation tester, grease roller stability tester, constant temperature water washout, Grease pressure oil separation tester. ACE bearing leakage tester. Grease water spray resistance tester. Lubricating oil filterability tester. Lubricating oil air release value tester. Lubricating oil CCS apparent viscosity tester. This is the kinematic viscosity measurement of the base oil, which can detect the kinematic viscosity indicators at 40 degrees Celsius and 100 degrees Celsius. Now you see is the sample storage cabinet, where a variety of products are stored, including raw materials and finished products. Its function is to facilitate product traceability in the later stage. When product quality problems occur, the reserved raw materials and products see and be analyzed as soon as possible. These two equipment are lubricating oil pour point and freezing point analyzer, which are important equipment for analyzing the low temperature fluidity of base oil. This is a grease similar viscosity tester, which is an important equipment used to detect the low temperature fluidity of grease. This is a grease noise value tester. This is a 4-ball anti-wear testing machine for lubricating grease. It is an important equipment for detecting the extreme pressure and anti-wear properties. It uses same 4 steel balls to judges the extreme pressure and anti-wear properties of grease through friction spots diameter. What we see now is the grease dropping point tester. The dropping point of grease is an important manifestation of the temperature resistance. The dropping point is being detected through the oil bath dropping point equipment. These testing equipment are all relatively advanced and professional. Now, we are entering the grease production workshop. Through this corridor, we will directly enter the grease production workshop. The whole workshop is very grand. The entire layout is very reasonable and perfect. On the innermost side, there are 15 130 tons base oil storage tanks, then followed by saponification kettles, blending kettles, homogenization equipment, and degaussing equipment. After degaussing, the lubricating grease is transferred to the right side for cooling. Usually it requires 24 hours. The total area of the workshop is 6,000 square meters, with 10 sets of saponification kettles, 26 sets of blending kettles, 26 sets of degaussing tanks, and 16 sets of homogenization equipment. The workshop can produce 300 tons of grease every day. What you see ahead is the working control room of the grease production workshop. Next door is the meeting room, where we hold weekly meetings about grease. With my camera, let us take a closer look at the entire production process of lubricating grease and feel how it is produced. The large round tank is the storage tank for base oil, adjacent to which are 10 sets of saponification kettles. What we see now is a triple mixing pressure saponification kettle, which is undergoing saponification process, and heating and stirring are being carried out in the kettle. Now we are going to take a look at the blending kettle. The saponified grease must be transported to the blending kettle for the blending process. Each blending kettle is equipped with 2 high-power screw circulation pumps to continuously circulate and blend the grease in the kettle. The main function is to make the grease more finer. Each blending kettle is equipped with a shear and a filter. Its function is to filter impurities in the grease and disperse the particles of the grease to make the grease become more delicate and better lubricity. This is another blending kettle, which produces green color machinery grease, and is undergoing mixing and blending operations. We have 2 contactor saponification kettles, which are relatively advanced saponification equipment in the world. What we see now is the raw material feeding process. The worker are feeding the raw materials into the saponification kettle, which includes stearic acid, calcium hydroxide, lithium hydroxide, water, other materials. The raw material being feed is 12-hydroxystric acid, a white Fl, achy substance, which is one of the most important raw materials for the grease production. After a continuous saponification reaction at high temperature and high pressure for 2 hours, a qualified lubricating grease soap solution is produced. The soap solution is transported to the mixing kettle through a pump, and various additives are added to the mixing kettle for blending process. The current production is multi-purpose lithium grease, and the blended grease needs to be homogenized. This equipment is called a high-pressure homogenizer, and its working pressure can reach 60 megapascals. After homogenization, the grease structure is more stable, dispersed more evenly, and more delicate, while achieving better lubrication effect. The homogenized lubricating grease undergoes the final degaussing process along this pipeline. This device is a negative pressure degaussing tank, which is used to remove the air bubbles in the lubricating grease and make it more transparent. Finally, the grease is discharged through the lower grease outlet. Now we will go to the first floor to see the grease draining process. At present, the greases we can produce includes multi-purpose lithium grease, lithium complex grease, calcium grease, polyurea grease, calcium sulfonate grease, high temperature and low temperature grease, etc. And we can produce grease more than 600 variety.